Hi, buddy. Hope one's well. Hope one's had a really good weekend. Thank you very much for jumping on this webinar today. I can see a few more of you are just jumping on at the moment, so just wait a few seconds. Just let me know in the chat or the Q&A, whatever's available to you, that you can hear me. Just put a Y or a yes, so I know I'm not talking to myself there. Make sure you have got some paper and pen, just to make some notes. We'll make sure that you get as much value as today as possible. So if you've not been on one of my webinars before, any questions as we're going through, put them in the Q&A. I'll make sure we look at that at the end and answer those questions. If there's anything that we don't cover, please put them in the Q&A as well. I want to give you the chance to ask questions and give you value, even if it's something slightly different with Facebook. So I can see lots of people answering. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Really appreciate the feedback there. So let's just dive in. I've got some slides to keep us in check today and to make sure that we're covering everything we should. And let's make a start. It looks like everyone's on board. So what we're going to be covering today, well, we're going to be looking at targeting for landlords and investors on Facebook, how to target landlords and investors on Facebook, and why retargeting, just like eBay and Amazon, is a must when generating these type of leads. The biggest mistakes that agents are making on Facebook, so how to avoid putting out the wrong messages out to landlords and investors, and also 3 of the most powerful Facebook adverts you must be considering using in 2023. We're going to look at the 3 biggest adverts letting agents must be using right now to bring in regular landlord and investor leads. And I'm very lucky I get to see a lot of accounts. So if you don't know who I am, just a very little bit of information about who I am. My name is Paul Long. I help estate agents to understand and utilize all the powerful data that's available in Facebook and Facebook advertising, with the main goal of generating more business and increasing business levels. And we do this in a number of ways. We train agents on our membership program, which agents can join and teach themselves with support from us. One-to-one training. Some agents like us to work with them on a one-to-one basis and sit down, look at their business and help build funnels together. And also for our agency, so a managed agency service where we look after Facebook adverts and funnels for agents as well. We work with around about 200 to 300 agents each year. And if you're wondering where my hunger for the property industry comes from, I've been involved in a estate agency for over 25 years. My family own a business in the southeast of the country, a letting and estate agency, and that's exactly where my hunger for the property industry comes from. And these are just some of the agents that we work with or have worked with. And one on the right there you might recognise, Michelle Gallagher. Michelle Gallagher from JD Gallagher, recently awarded Best Estate Agent in the UK at the EA Masters for the 2nd time in a row. So really proud to say we've been working with Michelle for the last sort of 3 to 4 years. And speaking to Michelle a couple of weeks ago, what was really interesting is that she said that a majority, if not all of her leads now come from social media and Facebook advertising. She actually does no print advertising anymore. It's all from social media and also obviously from recommendations and referrals. So interesting to hear that, but really proud to say that we've been on her journey as well. So before we dive in and look at what's working in Facebook, let's just bring you up to date very quickly with this one slide on what's happening in the Facebook world at the moment and why all the fuss. So quick cap, UK adults spend around 2 hours a day on Facebook, 1 hour and 30 minutes on Instagram, 1 hour and 25 minutes on YouTube, and 1 hour 15 minutes on TikTok. So you can see Facebook's still getting plenty of eyeballs on the platform. On average, you'll spend a massive 1 year and 7 months of a lifetime on the platform. Facebook is used daily by 44% of the UK population. 66% of the UK population have a Facebook account. And of all internet users in the UK, 78% of them use Facebook. More importantly, a whopping 40 million people, or 71% of UK adults, can be reached with adverts on the platform. That's the important one. You know, we can get in front of 71% of UK adults by using adverts on the platform. But are landlords and investors on the platform? That's a question I get asked all the time. And the simple answer is yes. You know, between the ages of 25 and 65, some big numbers there. 12.8 million, 9.6, 9.2, 5.6, 4.7, and even 65 and plus, I can tell you that's increasing all the time. So these are the ages that our landlords investors are, and these are the people that we want to get in front of. So the platform is ideal. And when we talk about Facebook adverts, just be aware, we're not just talking about Facebook, we're talking about the family of apps. So we are talking about Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Messenger. And these are platforms which you, but also landlords and investors do use, and you can get your content and adverts showing on these as well. But can we actually target landlords on Facebook? Landlords, investors, can we target them using Facebook advertising? Can we benefit from the algorithm, which is the powerful data predicting what you and I are going to be doing next? And one of the best ways to look at this is to compare Facebook against the portals that we advertise on and we're all very used to as agents. So Rightmove, Zoopla are on the market. These are all known as search and intent platforms. People go there knowing the price, the location, what they want, and they expect to see results straight away. And really, that's powerful data for the portals, but it's limited. There's limited data there for them. They can only see pretty much straight away what people are looking to do. Facebook is more of a discovery platform with people visiting the platform to learn and share, engage with family and friends. And it's a small difference that allows Facebook to gain a mass amount of data on everyone using the platform. The powerful algorithm is now so powerful that it's able to predict what you and I are going to be doing next 4 to 6 months in advance. Some experts say that Facebook has got more data and consumer buying habit data than Google. But how many data points do you think Facebook has on each and every one of us? Just have a think, have a guess, put a number in the Q&A or the chat. Let me know what you think. Just let me see if anyone can get close to the numbers. You'll be quite surprised. Few people are guessing there, 10,000, 2, I think a few more than 2, 300. Let's show you and let's see if anyone's close. The actual number is 50,000 unique data points on each and every one of us. And these are first-party data points, which means that this is what Facebook's gaining on us. So pretty amazing when you think about it. If you try putting a number of things down about yourself, I don't think you'll get anywhere near 50,000. But this is how Facebook is getting all those data points. It's looking at it knows the business and industry you're in, so that's some of the data points, the entertainment, what you like, mobile devices you're on. Facebook knows what mobile device you're using, when your anniversary is, what education level you're at, if your parents, how old your children are. It knows where you work, your job position. It knows what you like with regards to food, shopping. It knows events that are coming up you like. It knows your purchase behavior. So Facebook has got lots of data points. And the reason I'm telling you this and really trying to give you an understanding how it's gaining this information is because as agents, we can tap into this. But how is Facebook getting this information? It's just to break this down for you. You're probably thinking, how can Facebook get 50,000 data points on each and every one of us? Well, these are some of the examples. Website visitors. You can put a Facebook pixel on your website, your property website, and Facebook will give you an audience of people who are visiting your website. Now, what do you think Facebook's doing with all that data? It's using it. It's not just using it for you, it's using it for everyone. So there are pixels on Zoopla and Rightmove, and Facebook obviously knows who's visiting those sites as well. Messenger, it's looking at the keywords that you're typing into Messenger. So if you type into Messenger, I'm viewing a property to rent in Manchester at the weekend, Facebook's machine learning is putting out those keywords. Think of all those messages flying around. Apps you're downloading, it's looking at what you're downloading. Pages you like, GPS, where you're visiting, where you're checking in. Facebook knows where you're going and what you're doing. Videos you're watching on Facebook, that's a big one. Facebook obviously has millions, if not billions, of videos on the platform now. They all have titles, they all have tags against them, but also Facebook's looking at the amount that you're watching. So it can work out if you're interested in a certain topic by the percentage of the video you're watching. And Instagram and all the other platforms owned by Facebook. So don't forget, we looked at all those other apps. Facebook's putting data out of those as well. And something you might be interested in, which shocks people, a few weeks ago, I spoke to someone at Facebook and they even confirmed that they are listening to our voice messages in WhatsApp and Messenger and their machine learning is putting out keywords on those as well. So as well as what you type, it's also what you're saying, and they actually admit that now. Now, the great news is all this powerful data is available to you as estate agents and letting agents, allowing you to get in front of landlords and investors a lot earlier and before your competition does. So this data is available for you in Ads Manager, and you can get your messages in front of landlords and investors in your town a lot earlier. So here's some of the interests that are available in Ads Manager. Think of these like tagging you with tags based on your behaviors. Write some of these down. They're all in Ads Manager. There's a lot more, and they do change on a weekly basis. So buy-to-let, creative real estate investing, landlord, property management, real estate investment, all in there. And if someone matches one of those interests, you can get your ads to show to those people in your town. And Facebook provides powerful targeting options for letting agents based around interests of users. It knows exactly who could be a landlord or investor in your local area through their behaviors and interests. And we're seeing agents, pretty much identify all the landlords and investors in their town by targeting landlords and obviously putting content in front of them for them to download or to watch. And you can do exactly the same for sellers and buyers. So if you're an estate agent, don't forget, Facebook provides targeting options for those people: first-time home buyer grant, for sale by owner, mortgage loans, mortgage calculator, real estate, property, real estate appraisal, property appraisal. These are all in there as well, allowing you to drop a pin on your town and get your advert shown to those people first of all. But it's also important to understand you need to create your own engaged data. And this is what some of the best agents in the world are doing. So what I mean by that is that the best letting agents are also producing great content on a regular basis to attract landlords, investors, but, and this is the important bit, also creating engaged audiences in Facebook to retarget and stay in front of anyone showing interest in them and their content. So in Facebook, we can put some really good content out there, but the important thing is that we're retargeting, getting back in front of anyone showing interest in that content. And we'll dive a little bit deeper into that in a second. But some of the things that agents are putting out: market update videos, obviously allowing them to create an audience of people who watch those videos, legislation update videos, guest expert interviews, buy-to-let opportunities. These are all video content, and this provides a great way to retarget people who are watching those videos, and that's something you can do in Ads Manager. And also blog articles, tips and advice. We talked about the Facebook Pixel being put onto your website. You can create blogs that only landlords would read, which provide tips and advice and provide value, and you can retarget those people who are reading your blog articles. And there's some examples there on the right. So retargeting is now a must. But why is retargeting now more important when generating landlord leads, and something agents can no longer ignore? Well, not all landlords or investors need help straight away. Perhaps they do not know, like, or trust you enough yet, or perhaps they've got a tenant in their property and they're quite happy. But there will be a day when they need your help, or perhaps they've got an agent which they're happy with. But again, there could be an opportunity later on. We need to make sure we're retargeting and staying in front of any of these landlords, investors that are showing interest in us, but perhaps aren't quite ready to use our services. And you've got to remember, it's a big ask. It's a lot bigger than someone thinking of selling their property. They're actually looking to work with someone, partner with someone, and use their services. So they need to make sure that decision is right. But let's share with you something else. And this is a survey and study by a university who worked with a leading marketing firm, which showed how many adverts we actually see. And this, again, reconfirms why retargeting now is so important for letting agents or when trying to generate landlord leads. And people see on average 5,000 adverts a day online and offline. So if you're putting content out there on social media as adverts, you can't just rely on that one advert being seen and action being taken. You've got to show up again. So people see a massive 5,000 adverts online and offline. So on computer, on social, on print, walking down the street, TV. Only recall loosely 50 of those adverts a day. Only recall 4 of those, actually 5,000 by actual product name. So you can see, people very quickly forget what they've seen online. And if you try and remember what you saw on Facebook last night or online, you probably wouldn't remember. So again, you can see the importance of retargeting, getting back in front of people showing interest. The old rule was that a message had to be heard between 5 to 7 times in order for it to remember. Now most experts believe it's between 11 and 13 touch points before a message breaks through and the person will consider buying or using your service. So again, you can see these touch points are really important. You can't just rely on putting an advert out saying we let homes get in touch. You need to be showing up on a regular basis, getting the important touch points in, and this could be weeks or months. So retargeting is now allowing agents to influence sellers and landlords a lot earlier and changing what people think about them before they've even reached out to them through something called pre-framing. And this is why retargeting is so powerful. Now, if you're wondering what pre-framing means, Frank Kern, who's a well-known internet marketer, explains this really well. Pre-framing is essentially using marketing to control people's opinions and feelings about you before they've even had a chance to read your sales message or interact with you in any way. And breaking that down a little bit more for us as agents, by the time you interact with a landlord or investor by phone, email, or in person, they should be a very warm lead and should know who you are, what you do, and what you're all about. So good example here as agents is how many of you been to a valuation, perhaps met a landlord, sat down with that landlord, and the landlord straight away says, I'm not calling anyone else out. I just know you're the agent, you're the letting agent to look after my property. That's probably because they've gone through some sort of pre-framing where they've seen your messages, your boards, your emails, your newsletters, your social media promotions, hopefully, and they just feel comfortable using your services. You don't have to sit there and explain who you are and what you're all about. They already know a lot about you. And that's a great position to be in when looking at fees, because you're not just being compared on fees with other agents, you're actually being compared on what they already know about you and your service. So let's give you a little bit of value and break down a little bit more. What are agents retargeting? What sort of content are they putting out there? Let's give you some ideas and something to take away and think about. So top right there, hopefully you can see it just behind me, giving tips and advice on questions that landlords are thinking about. So that's a Q&A live. Giving advice to landlords, start writing down the questions that you get asked on a daily basis by landlords, because that is the questions that they will find really valuable and want to know. So you probably get asked all the time when landlords call you for the first time. Start writing those down, even the ones that you get asked at your valuation. Create short videos or blog content from that. That's going to be the sort of content that people want to see. Down the bottom there, interview with an expert. So think about creating content where you interview an expert who would help a landlord. So maybe that's an accountant, maybe that's an EPC provider, a gas engineer. There's loads of different people in the process, and they're the sort of people that you can sit down with, just run a quick Q&A, and that information that's being put back from your questions is going to be really useful. Quick tips and advice there, buy-to-let tips. In the middle there, market updates, give updates on the local market and compare it to national stats, how the local rental market is doing. But remember, landlords, investors also like to know how much their property is worth, so don't shy away from actual values as well. Down the bottom left there, social proof and case studies. Let people see your reviews, but also break down the situation that landlord or investor was in that you helped. Show your worth, but also allow people to relate to that let. So if someone came to you because they were looking for an agent to manage their property whilst they work overseas, explain that was the situation of the landlord and how you had to find a tenant who was going to hopefully look after the property and was the right type of tenant, and also you had to do it in a quick amount of time. That person, that landlord investor, that potential future landlord investor can relate and think, well, that's me. I'm going to be looking for a letting agent soon. I'm going overseas. That agent is going to be ideal because they've already done the business. So think about case studies, put a bit of a story behind it, and also this will again show your worth, why you're worth the fees that you are. And then top left there, just again, digital mayor content. This is great for brand awareness. Don't shy away from it just because you're a letting agent. Showing you've got real interest in your local area. Also, it's fantastic for brand awareness. Interviewing local businesses, best places to eat, to go in your town. Show you've got a real passion for your town as well. So some ideas there for you to take away. And these are the sort of content you want to be pre-framing and retargeting with. So how agents are actually retargeting on Facebook? Well, they're building powerful audiences based on engaged data and by using the tools that Facebook provides everyone. And we teach agents, or we build these for agents. And in Facebook Ads Manager, these are all available and they look after themselves, a lot of these, when you create them in Ads Manager, the back part of Facebook. You've got Facebook page engagement audience. This is an audience of everyone visiting your Facebook page or liking, commenting on your posts or messaging you. Facebook will pull them into an audience on a regular basis so you can get back in front of them. People watching your videos, video views, you can select all your videos and say to Facebook, anyone who watches 50% of my videos, pull them into an audience for me to use. And that's a really powerful one, because if you're putting out market updates, tips and advice for landlords, who do you think is going to be watching 50% of those videos? Only landlords and investors. Pixel data, you can put a little bit of code on your website. Facebook will give you a bit of code and you can retarget people looking at your letting service pages, your reviews, your landlord blogs. Again, who's going to be looking at those? That is the low-hanging fruit. You know those people are going to be landlords and investors. Instagram engagement, just like Facebook, anyone visiting your Facebook account and following it or liking your posts or swiping, they're going to be pulled into the audience as well. And one which gets missed all the time, which is a really powerful one for anyone looking for landlords and investors, uploading data into Facebook. What do I mean by that? Well, we're talking about uploading email addresses of landlords and investors that perhaps you've dealt with or you used to deal with or you're dealing with, and Facebook will find them on Facebook and then you can put content back to them. And if you're lucky enough to have a large sales department, think about all the people that have registered with you over the years who've said that they're investors looking for property to buy to then rent out, and perhaps you didn't find them anything, or your estate agency side didn't find them anything, but they're still probably investors and landlords, and you can upload them into Facebook and again stay top of mind with your content. So if they need help later on, who again do you think they're going to come back to? So it's just some ideas there. They're the sort of audiences that are available for you. But before you dive into Ads Manager, first I wanted you to know and understand what the one biggest mistake I see a lot of agents make with their Facebook advertising right now that's killing their adverts and wasting a lot of money. And in fact, this was one of the biggest mistakes that I made as well with Facebook advertising. What is it? Well, it's always asking but not giving or leading with value, not considering reciprocity. And if you're wondering how that looks, if you want that explained a little bit more, this is the sort of advert that you might be used to with leaflets, paper, or maybe you're still doing these sort of adverts. But on Facebook, unfortunately, they don't work very well. If they do, they're very high cost. So direct response adverts, we sell homes fast, we let homes fast, you know, best price, lowest fees, full service, contact us now. Adverts that might have worked a long time ago or in leaflets and print are just not suitable for social media platforms like Facebook. So if you're going to take something away from today and see improvements, take this away. But why is that? Because on Facebook, this will sound exactly like this. I don't know you and you don't know me, but pay me loads of money to sell or let your house. You must give before you ask. It's the #1 digital online social media marketing rule. And why is this? Because people aren't on Facebook searching for estate agents or letting agents. They're on the platform to socialize with family and friends, engage, learn, share things, and you're interrupting their time. The first time they see you, you're interrupting their time. So really, you've got to make sure that you grab their attention first of all. And how can you do that? Well, one of the best ways you can actually do this is by leading with value. And I'm going to give you 3 Facebook adverts that you should consider or must be using in 2023, which lead with value and are going to get you the results that you're looking for. But also you can take these ideas away and see how they fit in your business, and perhaps you can come up with some other ideas as well. So #1 is guides, checklists, and cheat sheets. And these definitely lead with value. But the great thing about these is that they start conversations. And this can be accomplished well through simple guides. E-guides that provide value and help educate landlords, investors work very well. So what type of topics can you base these guides around for landlords? I'll give you a few examples there of the sort of topics that maybe your guide or checklist could base on. The ones that work best for us are relating to getting rent, getting the best rent or getting rent paid on time, legislation, compliance, making sure that they're aware of any changes in legislations and regulations, and finding the perfect tenant and getting their property back in good condition. These are the sort of angles that work well for all landlords. Of course, if you're a bit more specialist, you might look at some other different topics, but those three, if you cover those, you'll be doing really well. We use something called a lead advert in Facebook. A lead advert is where you can have a form attached to your advert, and you can see on the left there, second in from the left, that is the form that will pop up when someone clicks on the download button after seeing your targeted advert. And remember, we can target landlords in our town. And when they get to this point, they can put their name, number, and email address in and telephone number, but they don't even have to type it because Facebook will pull it from their social profile that they signed up to Facebook with. So these are very slick and quick. People click through them very quickly. They don't have to leave Facebook and enter those fake details when they come out of Facebook. And you're able to obviously gather people's details in exchange from your guide. So again, no need for a landing page here, all within Facebook. And these work extremely well. And what I can tell you as well is when someone clicks on the form, you can build audiences just of that. It doesn't even have to go through the whole process. Just clicking on that download button, the form pops up. I can actually build an audience of those people. And these are helping agents position themselves as local authority figures, experts, generate leads, but most importantly, start conversations by providing contact details. So this type of advert, for our business is huge because obviously conversations are so important in any property business, but also by using Facebook advertising provides a powerful combination to generate leads and new business, but also a powerful way to create audiences of possible landlords and investors. So if you remember, I said just by clicking on the advert, we've got an audience, we've got someone pulled into an audience we can get back to. We don't even need them to submit their name, number, and email address. So if you want to create your own guides or checklists, write this down. This will help you. This is something we teach on our training program, but also how we build our guides for anyone that we work with. We use something called the SAGE acronym. And the SAGE acronym stands for SAGE, S for short. So the good news is your cheat sheet or PDF or checklist only needs to be a couple of pages long. It's been tested that short checklists and PDFs work much better. People now want snackable content. They don't want to be downloading a 30-page document because they won't find time to read it. They want to consume it within a few minutes. So bear that in mind. A for actionable, give them a step towards to take. So get them from A to B. You don't need to get them to A to Z and give them everything. Just get them further than they've got before and give them something that's actionable. Goal-orientated, make sure it's goal-orientated and easy to implement. One of the biggest mistakes I see agents making is I'm going to confuse the hell out of the landlord or investor. I'll make sure that they come to me because they don't understand it. Don't do that. Give them something that's easy to implement because, again, they feel that they've got further than they've got before. You've helped them. They're going to come back to you to get the full distance and use your service for that help. So easy to implement for E. So number 2, let's have a look at advert 2 on the list of adverts that provide value and are working extremely well for agents. Priority investors mailing lists, investment opportunity updates of properties consider ideal investment opportunities. And there's a few ways you can go with this. On the far left, we're using a lead advert where we're actually creating a list, a PDF that they can download of investment opportunities in the local town. And if you've got a sales side, great, you can use your own properties. Otherwise, you can perhaps identify other opportunities and they can download that in exchange for their details. And again, all through a lead advert where it's very quick and slick. Or you could use an actual advert where you're doing property investment opportunities, a mailing list where you get to hear about opportunities a lot earlier before they hit the market. So As you can see there in the middle, attention property investors, do you want to receive property investment opportunities before they come on the market? Click sign up to join our database of priority investments. So again, you can do it in 2 different ways, but these work extremely well, really easy to target people in your town. Again, perhaps targeting landlords that are buying more properties, or perhaps they're buying their first investment opportunity. Now, if you do run adverts to either of those 2 that I've shown you, the download of guides and checklists and templates, or perhaps someone signing up to an investment list of opportunities of properties, you want to be looking at ways to speed up your results. You can't just rely on gathering that data. Yes, you can have a great conversation, but they might not be ready. So you've got to look at ways to speed up your results. It's important to consider the different ways you can get your landlord leads close to you and close to using your services. So these are some of the vehicles that I think you should consider using. So you've got the list, you've got the landlord name, number, and email address. Now you've got to look at ways to bring them close to using your services and taking them through that know, like, and trust quicker and quicker to coming to use your service. So let's have a look at some of these. We've got top left there, landlord surgeries. And let's explain, if you've not heard of a landlord surgery before, this is where you can advertise a certain day and a certain time period where anyone who's a landlord investor can just pop into your office and get a market update. They can get any questions answered. You might do a health check on their documents, but also you might have an expert in the office that day as well. So it might be that you're going to have a mortgage provider or an accountant or a solicitor or whoever you can get in for those few hours. Now, the difference between this landlord surgery and actually a landlord event is that rather than everyone turning up one evening at a certain venue, they can just pop in. So the pressure's taken off you, but also taken off the landlord. They can just pop in. And you could perhaps do this once a month or once a quarter, and they know that this is a regular thing and they can pop in. So works very well. You can advertise it on social media, through emails, through text messages. A great way to get people in. Also, you don't have to worry about hiring out a venue, and you don't have to worry about no one turning up, because you can obviously continue working in that time period. So that's just one idea, works very well. On the right-hand side there, webinars. You know, webinars now, just like this one, are very easy to set up online. You can use Zoom, you can use all different types of software. And with webinars, you can also, again, think about getting an expert to come to the webinar, perhaps to provide some sort of update or tips and advice. So you could rotate your webinars with different people, accountants, mortgage providers, and pretty much they can do a lot of the speaking, and you can provide perhaps an update. Again, allowing those landlords to really see what your company is about, who you are, getting to know, like, and trust you, and getting you closer to using your services. Landlord groups, if you thought about using a Facebook landlord group, very easy to set up. Do need to be consistent with putting content in there. But again, once you've got someone's name, number, and email address, you could send them an email and invite them to your landlord group, where, again, you'll be putting tips and advice in there, updates, and maybe even guest videos in there, interviews in there as well. But if you do go with a landlord group, just bear in mind that you need to be consistent. And then, of course, we've got down the bottom there, right, compliance, health check. This is something which a lot of agents will use to try and get, again, leads to come a little bit closer to them. A compliance checklist, compliance health check is where you can offer via email or even a phone call, you can offer a compliance health check where they can bring their documents to you, and you can check that they are complying with all the legislation and regulations that are out there at the moment for landlords. And perhaps you can present it in a way where you say, normally you charge for this, or it's normally only given to your clients, but for the next 10 landlords, you're going to be providing this to 10 landlords. And this is a great way, again, to for them to come and see you and get to know, like, and trust you as well. And last of all, obviously, regular emails do need to be going out. It's another touch point. It's another way of getting back in front of those landlords. And again, looking at providing value, tips and advice and value through your emails. Okay, and then number 3 is Facebook adverts with a unique selling point, a USP. You know, we've seen some fantastic results for agents who are now putting adverts out there with a USP. And I think going into 2023, this is going to be even more important. You know, what's your unique selling point compared to other agents? And one that we've had really good results with recently is the advanced rent option, ARO, adverts promoting the advanced rent option. Just imagine if you could offer all your landlords a year's rent in advance. And this is exactly what the ARO does provide. As an advanced rent option member, agents are able to offer landlords a unique opportunity to receive their year's rent in advance in one lump sum, fully funded by the ARO. And we're being able to advertise this at scale to landlords and get landlords pretty much to hold their hands up who are interested in using a service where they can get their rent paid up front. It's definitely a competitive market out there, and the ARO has proven to be a devastating weapon to win new landlord business, giving its members the edge over competitors. And licensed member agents can advertise and deliver a year's rent up front to their landlords, enabling them to attract and retain more landlords, which in turn is helping to build a larger long-term portfolio. So some of the examples of the adverts we've run for this product, which obviously provides a USP, have had some amazing results. You know, we've managed to achieve 650 leads for around about £13 a lead. But when we're talking about leads here, we are talking about landlords who are raising their hand to say, yeah, I'll be interested in using a letting service where I get my rent paid up front. We're not just getting a name, number, and email address here from someone downloading. We're actually getting someone committing a little bit more, saying, I want to hear more about how that works. And I think the reason why it's working so well for agents is that often the best performing Facebook adverts push on a pain point, but provide a solution, and are also some sort of pattern interrupt that gets you thinking a different way. And I can definitely see that the ARO, for example, pushes on a pain point, it provides a solution, and then it is definitely a pattern interrupt. It's getting landlords thinking in a different way. Now, there's loads of other benefits to landlords why I think these adverts work well, and I've just listed a few there. For example, they're very attractive to portfolio landlords, the ARO, you know, lump sum to expand further. So you're attracting portfolio landlords here as well as new landlords. Something competitors do not offer that landlords want. Good to have a year's rent up front to call upon if needed. Rising costs, rent paid up front now very attractive. So you think about it, with all the costs going up, landlords are probably concerned about if rents are going to be paid. Less landlords in 2023, you know, the need for a USP is more important than ever. So have a think about what sort of USP have you got for next year, and helps you to fire up your social media marketing and activate your database. So the great thing about something like this is that you can send it out to your database, all those leads and emails you've got, and you can start identifying and starting new conversations with those people. And I think the conversation starter for agents and landlords is another really good point here with this product, in that it starts conversations. So even if they don't use this product, it's not ideal. Maybe they look into a bit further, it's not ideal. You've identified a landlord in your town that you might not have before. Now, I think hopefully we've got Gary from ARO on the webinar, and I grabbed him just before to ask if we could bring him on and have a little chat about the ARO. Just a few questions, because I think he'd explain it better. So let me see if he's on at the moment, and see if we can bring him on just to explain it a little bit better for me. There we go. Let's just see if we can. Hi, Gary, can you hear me?
Morning, Paul. Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thanks for jumping on, and I appreciate agreeing to spend just a couple of minutes explaining it a bit more. So I've got a couple of questions I wrote down before we jumped on. So what is the ARO? Can you explain what it is for landlords and agents and how it benefits them?
Yeah, of course I can. First of all, morning, guys. Thanks for having me on to talk about the advanced rent option. So what is it? From a landlord's perspective, I suppose it's professional full management with a reputable local agent, with an added incentive of taking the year's rent in advance, even when the tenants may pay monthly. So benefits for them could be that that's then used for refurbishment, maybe deposit for another property. And I know you touched on it, Paul, that investment portfolio landlords are keen on possibly something like this to help them generate that capital quickly. And also just that reassurance, because we know it's going to be a challenging time for everyone and landlords. So we know we've got that rent paid in advance. That's one thing less to worry about. So that's ARO from a landlord's perspective. From an agent's perspective, which is really what I suppose everybody on the call today would be interested in. Fundamentally, as you've said as well, Paul, it's a simple but really powerful lead generation tool that ultimately is designed to help you grow a managed portfolio. So, I speak to letting agents, and I'm sure many of you guys on the webinar today can relate to this. There's plenty of tenants out there, but attracting those new landlords tends to be the biggest challenge. So having the ARO helps to solve that problem. You can offer something unique. It is a really competitive market out there. We've got 22,000 agents in England. So we only work with a select few, and that helps to give you that unique proposition.
That's excellent. And what sort of results are some of the best agents seeing that are using it? Are they getting some pretty fantastic results, good results?
Yeah. As I say, it's fundamentally a marketing tool, so it really does, need to be marketed to make sure that message is delivered. Then that's why I'm sure, it's something that you've picked up on, Paul, to see that success that people have had when it's been done correctly. But to give you just a little bit of background, it originated within the Choices Group, which was set up by a chap called Simon Shinerock. Well established, I think, over 33 years now. So there are 14 sales and lettings business. Using ARO for just over 4 years, and what it's enabled them to do is significantly grow their lettings portfolio within that time. I think it's up around sort of 30%, and that business is a sort of 2,500-3,000 managed property business, so a significant uplift just as a direct result of having something unique like the ARO. And that isn't to say that the vast majority of the inquiries coming in are taking the service. What it's allowing Choices to do, and also our partner network, is to get in front of more landlords, which, as we know, is the biggest challenge. So partner network launched in January 21. We work with around about 50 partner agents currently. And as I say, if it's marketed properly, you've seen a significant uplift in those inquiries, and it's really just that opportunity to talk to more landlords, offer them the range of services that you can provide. And as an ARO partner agent, advanced rent and the ARO is one of those choices.
And what sort of feedback are you getting from landlords? Obviously agents, but we've talked about, what about landlords? Is it getting good feedback?
Yeah. As I say, it's not going to be for every landlord for obvious reasons. It's something that a landlord would need to have, but for landlords that are taking that choice, it's a simple process, convenient, and it also offers the opportunity to raise capital quickly, as we've mentioned before. So the rent is paid up front instead of accumulating monthly. Doesn't require other things that could kind of affect things like affordability or a loan, because it is their own profit that we can facilitate for them. So a great option to have, especially in the current climate.
Final question. Obviously, we've been talking about ideas for agents in 2023. How important do you think that's going to be, coming up with new ideas and what they should be considering in 2023?
Yeah, great question, Paul. I think you did such a great job at the beginning of the intro with ARO. So, for me, it is such a competitive market, and the need to be different is probably, what I would say is the most significant thing to consider. ARO helps to do that because it is such a unique proposition, as we say. And also, the great content that you've provided today on the webinar and going forward with the other services that you do, it's that proactive, effective marketing, I think, that will really make a difference. And in the period coming up, there's going to be, decisions made potentially with tenants as to kind of, where they spend their money, and rent might slip down that priority list a little bit, as an unfortunate circumstance. So, the ARO, again, can help provide that solution to a potential problem. I'm a landlord myself, and, if I had the choice of working with a letting agent that offers something like the ARO, or the opportunity to take that rent in advance, or one that didn't, then who am I likely to contact first? And I think that's the kind of the key point that I'd always kind of make about advanced rent option. It helps to attract that inquiry above potentially somebody else within your area. So that would be the main couple of points, Paul.
That's great. And if anyone is interested, any agents that are interested, what's the best way for them to find out more about the ARO?
Yeah, well, thanks, Paul, again for the opportunity to jump on today and the valuable content. From my side of things, if anyone on the webinar would like to find out more, I'm sure we'll send out some email to you after the session, and a link to my diary and contact number and everything to have a chat in the coming days. Alternatively, have a contact yourself, Paul, and I'm sure you can put us in touch as well. So yeah, look forward to hearing from anyone that might want to work with us.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Gary, for
no worries.
I appreciate your time. So as Gary said, I'll get some information sent out to everyone who attended, just in case you want to follow that up, and also everything we've showed today. Finally, just want to say thank you, and we'll go through the questions in a second. But if you are interested in getting further help on anything you've seen today, these are 3 ways that I work with people. Obviously, group coaching. If you want to learn how to create adverts, just like I've showed you today, we cover all that on our membership program, where you can join and watch the training, get support as well on a membership program. One-to-one coaching, perhaps your business is a little bit different and you want us to work with you on a one-to-one basis. Again, that is something that I do, where we'll sit down with you, look at your business and work out what adverts, what strategy would be best for you. And of course, we do have a managed service as well. So all those adverts you saw, we can help you create adverts and funnels for you if you feel you just haven't got the time, or perhaps you don't feel confident with the advertising. And let's have a look at those questions and see where we can answer some of those. So I'm just going to stop sharing there. Let's just come back to the room. Let's have a look at some of these questions. Chat disabled, so we're in the Q&A. That's good. How much do the database point numbers depend on budget? So I think Sarah's asking how many the data points. So I think asking, how much is it going to cost to use the data in Facebook? You can use the data. You just have to run adverts, and running the adverts, you can start by creating adverts just a couple of pounds a day. Normally, lead generation adverts where you're getting name, number, and email address, you tend to spend sort of £4 or £5 a day, because obviously you're asking Facebook for a little bit more. You're asking for data, and those adverts do cost a little bit more. But a couple pound a day for a lot of those adverts to get content back in front and get people to click or watch your videos. And then sort of the lead generating adverts I've shown you today for name, number, and email address, normally around that sort of £4 or £5 a day. What's the quickest way to get a rejected ad up again? Can you actually talk to them? Great question. So yes, you can talk to Facebook. It does happen. And one of the things that we do train agents is that there is a process now called the special ad category, where you have to be a bit careful how you submit your adverts to make sure they comply. That's something we train agents to make sure happens. But sometimes you can get your advert rejected, but you can speak to Facebook. In Ads Manager, there's a little chat button that you can click on, and then you can actually speak to someone on chat at Facebook and tell them that what's gone wrong or what you think's gone wrong. So yes, you can definitely speak to them. Let's have a look. What are the costs involved in using the ARO for agents? I'll get Gary to follow that up for you with all that information, because I think that's a separate conversation on this webinar. But of course, there are a few costs, and it'd be useful for you to see that. Already chatted with Gary, nice guy, very helpful. Thank you for the information. Well, no problem, Ben. Hopefully that helps. And I'm glad you found the information really useful from ARO. And let's have a look. I think we've got another question here. How would you build up a Facebook page? We have recently had to start a new Facebook page and finding it hard getting people to like and follow. Is there a best way getting likes and follows quickly? Again, great question. So if you're looking to get more follows and likes on your page, you really need to be looking at content which makes people not want to miss out on your content. And I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes agents make. They put a lot of great content on their page in their news feed, but pretty much just allows people to watch it or digest it and walk away. So we've got to be looking at ways to get people to want more and come back and not miss out. So some things you can do is give people a call to action on your content to remind them to follow and like your page, not to miss out on other great content. And This is the thing. If you're creating content that provides value, people won't want to miss out. They'll want to see more, but you've got to remind them what to do. So putting a call to action on your posts to follow or to like your page, not to miss out. It might be that if you go down some sort of buy-to-let investment opportunities or that sort of route, you might be able to have call to actions on your videos to like your page, to not miss out on other great investment opportunities like this. That could be a call to action actually in the video if you go down that route. So really, it's just producing great content that provides value and reminding people to like your page, and they will do that, but you do have to remind them. You have got other angles as well. A lot of you've got fantastic databases, email addresses of lots of people. Make sure you're sending out regular emails to invite people to like your page. Send that out every 3 to 4 weeks via email to remind them to follow your page or your like your page, and remind them what sort of content is hitting that page. People do need reminding. So a few ideas there. I hope that helps. You can invite people as well who have liked your content. So when people like your content, you can actually go to your page and you can go into notifications, and there is a process that you can actually invite those people as well. So hopefully that helped. Do you always have to use special ad category when running adverts for property? Yes, you do, Danielle. Great question. You need to be making sure you're using the special ad category so that you comply. It's based around anything relating to housing opportunities. There is that argument, if you put some content out there that's local community content, do you still need to go down that special ad category? Well, the fact that your page is an estate agent or letting agent page, Facebook algorithm, machine learning will probably class it as housing. So yeah, just use that. For landlords and investors, it's not too much of a problem because the actual radius that it brings it down to, sort of 9 miles on special ad category, that is probably where your landlords investors are located. They either live in your town or driving distance from their investment. So for landlords investors hasn't been a problem. It's just something you have to follow. So I hope that helps you. Is ARO suitable for all agents? I think this is where a conversation with Gary is probably a good idea. It's definitely a product that can be considered by all agents. It's something that gives you that sort of unique selling point, and I think you've got to be looking at angles, and maybe this is not the route for you. Maybe that you can think of another unique selling point that you can use, but hopefully just showing you that product and the sort of results we're getting shows that if you have got something that's a little bit different, you can see some great results, especially when scaling that message with Facebook advertising, because it's about starting conversations. It's not, maybe they don't take the product, but it's about starting conversations, and that has proven to work really well with what we've seen already there. So again, have a chat with Gary here, send you some more information, and you can see if it all fits in for you. On that, let's see if there's any other questions. I think we've covered everything there. Some great questions, and I will make sure that we reach out to all of you so you get the chance to ask any more questions. Again, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy morning. I really appreciate it, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Thanks again. I do appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.